Just give me a minute here. Oops. I think we are live. Just give me a second here. I actually forgot to prepare the music. Whenever I play the music, you guys can't actually hear it here, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay, that's fine. It's kind of like a blank for a while. Okay. All right, I'm going to play the music, and we'll get started. Hey guys, we're here to bring you another episode of the KHODDcast, and this is the first time we've done it in these mid-month where we recap last month and check in for this month. So this means we're going to check up on the happenings for June and see how July's been going. So today on the show we have Hate and Ogre, and then maybe a little bit later Kage, Doom, and Loot will join us. So say hey guys.
Yes.
Hello.
Sweet. Okay. So the first thing, as we are all living in it, hopefully not for too much longer, let's do our quarantine life check-in. So how have things been for you guys? How have things been for you, Hate?
I'm old. Mostly at home. Florida's a hotbed now, so it's... But everything's open, so you can go anywhere you want to go if you want to risk it. So that's kind of much it.
Do you have a
Old stuff.
what's the word here? Do you have a timeline for when to go back to work yet? Does your company let you know yet?
Next week.
Next
Looks
week?
like next week.
Wow. And now is that just
See if that happens.
is that just for your state or for your company?
The whole company.
Sheesh.
Most people already went back, but my line of business was delayed a little. So
In my case, in my province in Canada, we have rolled out the second phase, and then the third phase will be rolling out soon. But then for the second phase, my company can technically start back up, but they've postponed it at the very latest or very earliest until August. So August 2nd at the earliest is what I heard. So
I won't be surprised if things get pushed back, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I remember, like, I was listening. I can't remember which podcast or which of our podcasts it was. I think you're speaking to, who's your guild, your alliance leader again? What's his name again?
We'll see.
Yeah, Bullseye. I think Bullseye was the one saying that in their case, in the UK, they were like thinking about Christmas at the earliest, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. But then that seems more realistic. Not to be pessimistic or anything, but it just actually just sounds realistic to me. But how about you, Ogre? Life as usual? Has anything actually changed for you?
Nope, people are still stupid.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
California dang lost its mind, so...
All right. That's fair. All right. Well, let's continue on with some actual DCL talk. So we actually have some shop talk. It's been a while since we actually had some real shop talk. And that whenever we talk about shop talk, it's things that actually happen in the game that aren't actually affecting the immediate characters in the games itself, but it can indirectly. So there's a couple of changes made to DCL recently in the last month or so. The first thing we'll address here are ads and surveys placed into DCL, ways to get new resources, quote-unquote free resources. And then there was the whole announcement of AT&T selling WB Games. So we'll address both of these. We already mentioned a couple of them. Well, Hate did in a couple of podcasts we had earlier last month, but let's just recap them for people who haven't heard them yet. So let's talk about ads and surveys first. Hate, why don't you start? What do you know about these ads and surveys?
Well, I've participated in a bunch of it, and then they had that 4th of July sale, so there's a charity on there I usually donate to anyway, so I was like, oh, I might as well get 16,000 gems, because that's a decent amount of gems for not a very large donation. So I went in and did it, and did not get my gems, and I've been fighting with Tapjoy since then, starting to get frustrated with it, because I finished the thing. It's very convoluted where you have to dispute it. You have to do it through the offer wall. Did the dispute, sent them the pictures. They said they wanted a different picture, which I did have through my email. They wanted it from my email. So I said, okay, that's fine. But until you have to go back in through the offer wall to submit the second picture. Well, guess what? They closed the ticket, so you can't go in and do it because
What?
it doesn't no longer gives you the option to contact them. Then you go on their website, and they have a FAQ, which seems to be the only way to contact them. As soon as you submit the FAQ, it says, we will not respond to any offer inquiries through the FAQ. You have to do that through the offer wall.
Oh my god.
But then I found another, like, digging through stuff, you finally find a thing that says, use your reference ID and reply to the email. I did that, but then the email auto responds to you and says, this is an unmonitored email inbox. So I have no way to contact them.
This
Well, I put my
sucks.
reference ID in a survey they sent me asking how my customer service was, which I gave them. Terrible.
I mean,
I'm like, come on, guys.
this is
Terrible.
so you have donated to their charity, and at this point, the company that's helping you just get your ones and zeros at this point, right? Because it's just digital items. They should just be able to
Yeah.
facilitate that for you. But I mean, at the very worst, can WB intervene? I mean, it's
I just actually this was this morning, so
Mhm.
I reached out to them and I sent it to Reeves and said, hey, this is what people are experiencing, because they want people to just get the game revenue and buy things through these dumb ads,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
don't make it impossible to get your gems when you actually do it.
For like
The
microscopic
30-second ads, the
Yeah.
daily 30-second ads,
Mhm.
those aren't too bad. 2,000 gems a month for a minute and a half of your time. So now that they don't freeze every time you click on them, and there's no longer that 5-minute wait time that you used to have to deal with,
Right.
not too bad. I think it was a waste of. I get they're trying to raise revenue, I guess, to sell the game, which is our next topic. But kinda stupid. Not a big fan of it.
That's
I
fair.
hope that now their time they're going to put into the game for things that we'll spend money on instead, so that
Yeah.
they can raise money the old-fashioned way.
Through good old fashioned high quality production. So,
Exactly.
Ogre, have you played around with these ads and surveys?
Yeah, I did one for like 3,000 gems, and I also had to submit a ticket because the game's like, nope, we don't recognize that.
Yeah.
Mine went a little bit smoother though. Mine went smoother. I actually got the response, and then in like 3 days, I got the gems sent to me. Even though the offer is still on my offer wall, and I'm like, go away.
All right. I saw
So-
that Kage joined us. Hey, Kage, you there?
Yeah, barely here.
What? Yeah.
I don't want to hear it, man.
Yeah. So, what I was gonna say about the ads. So I played around with some of the quizzes, like the quiz survey ones, and actually like the puzzle stuff because it's kind of like it's just a nice change of pace. I used to be like one of those guys that did all those stuff on Facebook, and whenever someone posted up one of those things, I would just do them to see how far I could get. And then the problem is like I get to these quizzes where you have to like click on certain puzzle elements, right? And then if you can't click on it correctly, it's like it's giving you an error, and then you only get like one shot. It's very unforgiving, right? So if you click on it and you're wrong, and then it's just like, oh, you made a mistake, and then like everything just gets messed up, and then the coding, I don't know how it works on their back end. You don't get the gems after as a result, and it's really frustrating. But other than that, I mean, I'm with hate. Like the 30-minute ad or the 30-second ads, those are fine. Everything else just like blah. And like the resources are so minuscule that I feel like it's just not even worth my effort sometimes, Like I'm not gonna sit around for essence. I have so much essence as it is. I don't need it, right? So, anyways.
Yeah, there's one question in YouTube that said, I don't understand why ads are being placed in the game. Play devil's advocate. The reason is there's a lot of free-to-play players, so they're trying to earn some type of revenue off them, which the little 30-second ad you can go in and get resources for, not a terrible idea. Good way to get 3,000 gems.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. The offer wall,
Yeah.
I think they spent way too much time and resources on doing for something that very few people will probably use.
And if you think of it from a business
Yeah,
point of view,
it's-
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that like you have to remember that DCL is already kind of a smallish game. Like it's got to make its money where it can. It's not making money like Marvel Strike Force or any of the other big names. Like they don't have that kind of level income, so they have to make it where they can. And
The
it's out of the
argument
way.
to that is that Marvel Strike Force gives them insane amounts of content, where DC Legends is.
Right.
I disagree. I
Limited
think it's about the
resources.
same actually, but I mean,
I can
I
only
don't know.
remember from like back when we played a bit, and at that point it wasn't like it's comparable on the level of actual physical amount of content. But here we are. When
yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, the main thing I was trying to say was that it's out of the way enough with the ads. I don't feel intruded on at all
Yeah,
with them. So
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like if they had it up in your face, I think there'd be a riot. But the fact that it's tucked away in the corner and you'd have to click on it for it to come up, and you have the choice to go through it or not. I mean, that's fine. It's for what it is, right? So,
exactly.
and like you're like, hey, I have a couple of seconds. Like I'm kind of bored right now. I'll do a quiz, right? Like that's fine. And then you get rewarded for it. Like even if it's like one or two.
I have no idea what the heck quiz thing you're talking about. I've never seen that.
It's like the surveys, and part of the surveys, some of them are like quizzes and games, right? So you basically just
Never seen it.
You've never
No
seen
idea.
They're there.
That's because there seems to be a difference between iOS and Android. Android has a bunch of games that you can play and get a ton of gems.
Oh really?
iOS does
Yeah.
not have those. iOS has a bunch
I'm
of
on-
quizzes in their
I'm on
place
iOS.
of it.
Yeah.
I'm in iOS. I don't have like I guess when I was saying games,
Yeah, I have, like-
they're basically quizzes. But yeah.
I have a ton of play games. That's all I got
Okay.
because I'm on Android.
The quizzes
So-
that we have are kind of like just matching things, and then you have to just pick like A, B, C, or D kind of thing. So they're quote unquote.
If you get like
games.
10 gems where games that they play, especially during the 4th of July event, there was one of them.
God,
It was
yeah.
like 40,000 gems.
Yeah, and you only have to do it for like a month.
All right. Well, anyways, I mean, let's get off that topic because right now.
I haven't
like-
tried any of them though, so
Yeah. But I mean, again, I was like saying, if you have some time on your hands and you're like, hey, let's just see what this is about, that's cool. And you get a couple of gems, that's all good.
You know Joshua's on the guy who does streaming? He's done a bunch of them, and he's gotten a crazy amount of gems.
Really?
Crazy
Yeah.
amount of gems
He's
from
on
doing
Android?
it. Yeah, and he's like minimal play, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that's I guess some optimistic or positive outlook for those who are free to play. So maybe something to look into. But let's move on from there. So the other hot topic at hand was the announcement of AT&T selling WB Games. Now, I actually didn't follow that very well. Now, hey, can you recap for me and for everyone else who hasn't as well what that's about?
So AT&T bought Warner, which owned WB Games. WB Games is a small conglomerate of multiple studios, one of which is WB Studio, Warner Brothers San Francisco Games, I think it's what it is. Is that what it's called?
WB
Booger?
San Francisco.
They're one of the smaller studios of the bunch. But
Yeah.
because they own licensing to the games, if another company were to purchase, there would have to be licensing agreements, sequels, but if they purchase the game, they would have full licensing rights. The thing I don't really understand is if they bought, say, let's just say they bought DC Legends, they bought it and they got DC Legends, and then I guess the same thing would happen for Injustice. And they want new characters. That's the what rules applies when they want to add the new characters. That's going to be a big, I think, sticking point for legalities. I'm pretty sure they'll work that out. Anybody willing to pay $4 billion for, because that's the going price right now. The main reason AT&T is doing it is they have like $264 billion in debt, and they're trying to lower some of their debt load. However, some of the analysts I've been reading are saying that AT&T may not sell it in the end because it is a cash machine for them, recurring revenue, which they don't have a lot of, and there's talks that they may spin off their satellite program instead. But there's a lot of back and forth. I'm pretty sure they probably, once it leaks this far, that means they're already in like deep level negotiations, or you wouldn't even hear about it. Some of the companies that looking to buy, Activision Blizzard, I know a lot of people hate them for various reasons. They're probably my first choice, well, probably second choice, because I did see Microsoft is now interested. I think Microsoft would actually be a good pickup. They won't follow the standard gaming models, most likely. They're not currently in gaming, so I think they would give it a lot of love and a lot of attention to build a gaming brand. I don't want to buy and then piss off a bunch of people. 2 studios, Activision, different ones like that. They already have a big gaming presence and brand, so it won't hurt them as much if they buy and then chop. Where a company like a Microsoft or even Apple would be a good purchase. They would come in and not want to alienate all their clients right out of the gate. I would be really happy with either of those two purchases, and I think long term it'd be great for DCL. I think a lot more resources would probably get invested into the games.
Cool. Anyone else have something to add? Kage, you haven't said anything yet. What are your thoughts on these changes?
Of the ads?
Oh, not the ads. The selling
Oh,
of WP from AT&T. You're really not here.
I'm kind of tuning out. Hate
all
said
good.
something like, "Hey, Microsoft's not gaming." Like, what the hell do you think Xbox is, dude?
Yeah, that's true. But I'm talking about
Mobile gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't I don't know. No thoughts on it, I guess. That's about it.
Glad you made it to the show, Kage.
I guess I think one of the things you addressed when we had the actual podcast on this was the one company that you kind of don't want to pick it up is, I think it's EA, right? Because EA is more
Yeah.
of like, they have that loot box model, right? Where it's just basically everything kind of is that like gacha styles where you're just trying to like spin the wheel to get everything right. But I would imagine even if they did pick up something like this, it would be very hard for them to go in and redo everything according to that type of model because everything's kind of already set in place. It would just be
I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
they
but
would do
they
Gear
just make
12
DCL
and
too.
yeah. I mean, let's use Marvel Strike Force as an example. Now a new company comes in, invests a bunch of resources. All right, we got to get a return on the investment. They add Gear 12, which some of us might be happy about, some of us might be excited, whatever. But then they add like Legendary 6. Legendary 6 is a gotcha model, Red Star type of thing.
Oh,
It could be easily added in. Sales could change where it's more random.
Mm-hmm.
We already have some random sales, so they could make it a lot more random than it is now.
I
Yeah.
see.
They could definitely screw it up big time.
Shoot. Okay. Well, no EA. Let's hope. All right. So.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that you don't even have to necessarily continue the current product. You just make DCL2 happen.
Okay. Well, I mean.
Now that they couldn't do because of rights purposes, that would be harder. They would almost need to do DCL for a while first.
I don't know.
Could end it. But they would have to buy the rights to DC Legends, buy the rights to DC Legends 2 because rights exist for the current sale, but DC Legends 2 they would have to pay separate purchase for when I was reading through the stuff on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And
Well,
Injustice
that's a good
3 is
thing, at
kind of
least.
it's almost the timeline when Injustice 3 is expected to start being announced, and Injustice 3 already talking about how that's going to be a problem with the sale.
Right.
So they want to do it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. Now let's continue on to actual DCL talk, like when we're talking about actual characters now. So let's start recapping June with the June characters. So we had Cersei and Artemis as new characters, Hippo and Cheetah as reworks. I'm gonna start with Kage for obvious reasons. What do you think about the ladies?
Oh, they're sexy.
All right. Well.
No, I
was
mean
expecting
they're
more.
really. Okay. Well, their design was really good. Like it's really comic accurate. You could pull comic panels where they're modeled off after, and I found that was pretty impressive. Their gameplay, I didn't want to hype myself up too much because we were excited for characters like Ravager to come into the game, and then when we were pretty underwhelmed by their gameplay, it's you kind of learn to level off some expectations, and then you realize that we hadn't had like a really strong S tier contender since or as a new character since Donna Troy and Beast Boys month. So the devs had a really long streak of like bringing out A and B tier characters who were new characters, but then they had like a history of like, oh, here's some really like oppressive reworks like Lex Luthor where it's really hard to top off that rework. And then so I'm really pleased how they turned out. When I imagined like Artemis before she came in the game, I was hoping she was like a red Black Adam, red Arcus, someone who would just be like a deadly force, but also like have a lot of team utility. I'm just really glad that it kind of fit my play style when she came out. So, I don't have to sit there asking for a rework or anything. So I'm cool with it.
I'm with you on Artemis. I feel like Well, how do you feel about her being a tank versus, for example, a straight up striker? Because I was thinking she could have been a striker too, but I'm actually pretty happy that she's a tank. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was actually skeptical at first because I'm like, well, it's a tank. Tanks aren't known for damage. But before she came out, I was playing around with Mary Marvel and Lex and Owlman just to give her crits and int up, seeing how that would turn out, and then Mary did pretty good damage. So
Yeah.
I was just worried about Artemis, scaling the right way and her basic. But once you get Artemis ramped up, like you forget that her basic does like no damage because she just ignores affinity.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that direction, and it gives her long term value because Joker, kind of disappeared off the meta because he's so goddamn squishy.
Yeah. But yeah, she's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with her. Let's move on to Ogre. Why don't you tell us about the ladies? How do you feel about Cersei and Artemis?
Okay, so as I'm not really free to play, but I'm not really like what do I even classify as anymore? I spent like $25 on.
Well, you a Gear 8 player.
Yeah, I'm Gear 8, so it's not really relevant to whether because I'm not a whale for sure, but like I'm not a dolphin either. I'm not even a dolphin. I spend like $25 a month maybe.
You're a flounder.
Minnow.
Okay. Minnow. There we go. All right. But yeah, Cersei. Sorry for distracting. Cersei is very, very good at lower gear levels, where things tend to survive a little bit better. And her being able to revive, you have some really fun comps that you can do with characters like Martian Manhunter and Deathstroke. And some dies, still revive.
Losing Ogre.
On the opponent's side. Can you hear me still? Am I breaking in and out, or?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just like the network's kind of being wonky.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't do much about my internet.
Yeah, and it's all good. We can hear you now.
All right. Cersei's real good with characters like Deathstroke, Martian Manhunter, characters that have that on-death mechanic, because she'll revive characters, and the AI will continue to target them because they're only character of that affinity or whatever. So it works really well with a little bit of abuse like that. So you can win against like Gear 9
Yeah,
sometimes.
I want to
like
jump into what you're saying.
that's a
right
nice
now.
thing.
I want to jump in what you're saying right now because I've come up across this team that's like really, really annoying. And in PvP, and like I mean, if the star system wasn't what it is, this team would be actually really insane because it's a team basically all about like being as annoying as possible. It's White Lantern, Sinestro, Cersei, Swamp Thing, and what's his name, Black Mask.
Black Mask?
It's just like
Yeah.
all revival all the time and all like debuffs, and you're just like never you're never getting a turn again, or like everyone's just like never getting buffs or anything. It's just ridiculous.
Right?
But-
Oh, you killed somebody? Oh, you die now.
Basically, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a team I came up against. It's really hard to deal with, but it's not a very good offensive team for the star purposes, right? That's why.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's all. That's
Yeah,
all.
the team that I've been using is my stun team. It's Martian Manhunter, Cersei. It now has Kilowog and then Metallo. So it's all the freebies plus Martian Manhunter who had an event. So this is great for me because these are all free characters. But I ended up with like defensive wins against Gear 9, Gear 10 players. I'm like, this is great. So Cersei I've been really happy with, to say the least.
So what about Artemis?
Artemis I have at R5. I'm waiting for her week to come up here in PvP to try and boost her to... She'll be at least L1 for me, because I'm like 12 shards away from L1 or something like that. But I'll get her at least L1. I'm going to try and push for L2. That's top 1500, so it's a little rough because I start work like an hour before that timer expires. So it's going to be rough for me to do that. But I'm going to try. She's been really good, though. I like that she, in like red alerts, she feels very much like a red Arcus to a degree, because when you're using her with Lex, all of her moves buff. which is exactly what you want them to do. So she feels a little bit like a red Arcus to me in that aspect.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hippolyta,
Like when I saw her kit, the first thing I thought, I'm like, okay, Lex, let's go.
yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly where I went with her because she's also intelligence based. So it's like, this is great. I love this. And then
Like if you
Hippolyta,
start,
I haven't.
if you start with any of her other moves, and then by the time she gets her second turn, when she does her AOE, like all blues are dead. So
Yeah, pretty much.
it's pretty
Pretty
fun.
much. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And then I haven't used
Mhm.
Well, we
Hippolyta,
haven't touched
unfortunately.
the reworks yet.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna.
Hayden.
okay, all right.
I was
All
gonna
right, go
talk
ahead.
about that. So let's actually talk about Cheetah and Hippolyta actually. So these are actually quite huge reworks, I would say, and I think Hate.
Did
had
we
like
forget Hate?
Yeah. Oh wait. Well, Hate. Did you talk about the new characters? We'll talk about. Well, I'll let you talk about the new characters and the reworks at the same time.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Artemis, pretty awesome character. I don't find she fits my stun team quite as well as I had originally hoped. Like I thought she would completely replace Catwoman, but I find that there's times where I prefer Catwoman over her. In a lot of comps, I wouldn't say a lot, but in a specific amount of comps, just because I rely on because I use a lot of Metallo and Hawkgirl, and I rely on the immunities on them. And if I run Artemis, Wonder Girl whips them off. A lot of times when there is Wonder Girl, even though Artemis nukes Wonder Girl pretty easily, especially once she ramps, I find that it neuters my team a little bit. So that part of it I don't like her for. Pretty much everything else Artemis wrecks, though. I mean, she just is a powerhouse. And very good character. I took her RB4 last month. The other character, Cersei, I love. I still use her quite a bit. I wish her stun chance was a little higher. It's really the only thing I wish. But when she procs her stun on that AoE, she's broken good. I understand why it's not higher. But even in Siege now, I'll occasionally bust her out in certain scenarios because if there's Green Lantern and you need to remove a taunt and you want to be able to debuff characters, you're using Medfill and Jessica Cruz, find myself breaking out Cersei here and there, do the turn meter down, remove all the buffs. Really fills a niche. So that part of it's really cool. And then, I mean, she's a fun character. The reworks, Cheetah, I think has really changed the game. She gives you an alternative. I see way less Martian Manhunter than I originally did. I think all the sandbaggers love her because she automatically buffs up your OP characters like Arcus to make them even more insane than they already are and give you the speed advantage. The only knock on Cheetah, she's squishy. But a really solid character. I think she fits a lot of teams. She works well with the characters this month as well. I've actually been using her a lot with her Kilowog and Hawkgirl. Fun team. And Poe, extremely good character, fits a lot of things. I've come down on her a little bit. I'm not as high as I was last month. I don't find myself using her too often anymore. But she's still a very good character. I mean, I think it was probably the best month overall. Just characters that are just super strong all the way around that we've ever had. I can't think of a month that had 4 characters that are all A tier or above in one month.
Yeah, this was a pretty.
What
insane
about
month.
January? We had. Didn't we have January the other Lantern month?
What was the other Lantern month? I forget. Oh, it was like the Arcus rework
Is
one.
that gonna step away for just 1 second? It's ringing. I left something outside. I'll be right back.
All good. Well, anyways.
It was like Arcus and Saint Walker, and
Oh yeah, you're right.
that was a really good month
It
too.
was a
So
good
I
month.
mean,
I feel like in terms of power level though, it's slightly below this one. Like Arcus like really stood out, but the rest was kind of just like it was all right. But like this one was like they're all like AS tier, right? So
yeah.
yeah, this month was like the gravy. Like this was really crazy. Or this last month, I mean. Well, Olga, what do you think about Cheetah and Hippo? I mean, I know that you used to have like a love affair with Cheetah back in the day on your old account, but
I still do.
what do you think?
I'm actually going through her event right now, so
Mm-hmm.
like I've been going through her event. I'm actually happy that she got the event Just because I feel like everybody was crushing on Hippolyta. And I'm like, is she that good though? Like, I don't know. I feel like she's not as good as everybody
I
makes
feel
her
like
out.
you and Doom should have like your own podcast where you just debate that, and then everyone will listen to that, and everyone will have like 1 million views and 1 million ads, like ad revenue. Because you know how Doom is about Hippo.
That would be cool.
Hippo is
Oh,
his
I
Doom's
know.
lady.
Oh, I know. But like, that's just where I'm at right now. It's like I haven't had a chance to really play with her, so I'm not 100% sure. I've got her at like R4, so it's like I don't know if I should even bother to gear her up. You know, like I have no chance of getting her anytime soon. So because they're not doing the event for her, they did it for Cheetah, and I was like, oh well, I'm not going to bother.
That was the argument against
So
the Cheetah event too, because she's like easily accessible. Like, why does she have her own event?
easily accessible. It absolutely should have been Hippolyta in my book. I don't know why they did Cheetah. I'm not sure.
I don't know. What happened?
But
Whatever.
I do really like the new Cheetah. The new Cheetah is bae. Let me tell you. Looking at her legendaries last night because I finally got her legendary, and I was like, oh man, these are all really good. So I don't know. She seems like she's really really good, and people are just kind of using her for one trick, and she has so much more than that.
Fair
You
enough.
know?
Kage, what do you think about the reworks?
They're both really good characters. And like Ogre said, she is a really good character. Uh, I find that she doesn't fit my playstyle, and she's a little more one-dimensional than I like. Hippolyta is just really versatile. Um, I saw a lot of potential with her kit prior to the rework, but with the rework, it fixed all her issues. So I think she's in a really good spot now. She is really good, Ogre. I do strongly recommend a lot of people gear out both of these characters if they can get the chance, because they will take you very far.
Well, I guess you have it there. So let's move on from the reworks and let's go to thoughts for the sieges. So let's talk about the Artemis siege and the Guy Gardner siege. Were there any like crazy things happening? Any like controversies? I feel like we're getting to a point where things are stabilizing, but when it comes to like the what's the word here, like the bonus character lists and stuff, I feel like it's getting a bit random. Do you guys feel that at all? Anyone?
What do
No
you mean
idea.
random?
I mean, when I mean random, it feels like there's less synergy being like introduced between the characters. So you'd have to really think outside the box if you want to have like a full 20-point team.
No, I can see the synergy. I can see the counters too. So let's take this month for example. Medfield is a control character, and his leadership, for it to really shine, you need fast characters on your team. So that's why they brought out characters like Reverse Flash, just to get the jump on the Terminator. Same with Kilowog, and then Black Manta's there because, well, besides the fact that he converts all the mens that Medfield brings out into bleeds. I'm pretty sure that they were aiming for like, oh well, people are going to use all green teams, so you're going to see all blue teams, and that's where Manta's going to shine. Obviously, there's going to be some randomness, but they synergize well. And then last month, Hippo just kind of synergizes with any team. Artemis was supposed to be like a counter to Cersei. So I mean, there's synergy. You just it's not that random.
Fair enough.
Just as a note, Manta is also a great way to deal damage when you have 12 strength down.
Yep.
Like, bleeds are a great way to deal damage if you don't have any strength.
Yeah.
Also, something to note, Enchantress, with her AoE heal, can transfer a lot of debuffs to the opponent.
Yeah, I use her a lot, especially when you come up against like Kilowog or any stunners on the other side, and then you're like, hey, you stunned me. All right, well, here you go. Back to you.
Yeah, exactly. So like there is synergy there, and it's more that they're counter picks. They're just unfortunately for a lot of people, they just expressly look at the tier list when they're going into Siege because they can't rely on a character who, unfortunately, has been left in the dust, like Enchantress.
That's fair.
So, I mean, the idea of Enchantress is solid. She's a blue that does decent. Unfortunately, she's not just, good enough anymore,
Yeah.
I think is the problem. So, when you're looking at it on paper, she looks great. In practice, not so much.
Hey, how's your raids been going for the last one and this one? You having fun?
Last siege went pretty good. I did pretty well. I thought that was a fun siege. It was difficult having Mercy and Artemis early. But this one I feel like is a little bit on the easier side. Just the problem is Hawkeye mentioned it is that Kilowog's purge is bugged. Can't quite figure out why it doesn't purge sometimes. But every once in a blue moon it doesn't purge, and then if you're depending on that, it can cost you a match. I've noticed he didn't purge once when he was silenced. I noticed another time he didn't purge when the enemy had an invasion, but I still hit. I'm not quite sure exactly what the connection is, but that's a known issue. They're supposed to be working on it. Overall, though, I think this siege is pretty fun. You can get away with a full bonus team most of the time. I don't like those sieges as much just because, just everybody uses all bonus all the time, and then you get a dick team every now and again, and then it pisses you off because you try to force feed a few extra bonus tunes in there to keep up and lose 2 matches in a row. So that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't know.
First world problems.
Yeah.
First world problems. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's move on to some raid sucks.
Enchantress is terrible, by the way. So Jessica Cruz did more damage than her. So.
Jessica Cruz.
It's really terrible.
We're going to talk about Jessica Cruz in a second, but yeah, she's good stuff. Let's talk about the raids, though. So the last raid that we wrapped up, I mean, I feel like we go through this every month, but I feel like it's just business as usual now. We're just going through the motions, just hit the boss, find the best comp, hit the boss, get the stuff, right? So there's nothing else new about raids except for the skins that change every month. Do you guys agree? More or less?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's boring. This last raid was kind of entertaining just because we were in a heated battle with New Order. But
cool.
That made it. Oh, it keeps it entertaining. Otherwise, it would just be
it keeps
more
you guys
mind-numbingly
honest, right?
boring.
Keeps you guys honest.
Yeah, it just keeps us working.
Yeah.
So,
what do you guys think about the skins? I feel like this time around, I mean, maybe there are people who like the new Cassie skin, but I feel like the Yellow Lantern Sinestro skin looks really ugly, and I didn't even bother.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that didn't like it. They said it was pixelated and
it's just like, and his face looks ridiculously bad. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, he's supposed to be dead.
I get it, but look at what's his name? Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and who are the other good examples? Larfleeze looks awesome. Star Sapphire looks awesome. What's the deal? Like, Sinestro looks kind of like Waluigi. Or no, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, he has that whole weird mustache thing going on. So anyways.
You say you don't like guys with mustaches? Come on.
I'm not saying I don't like guys in mustaches. The mustache itself looks weird. Like, it looks like it's like...
They tickle when he kisses them, so...
Yeah. Anyways, that was my only gripe with the skins. And I wasn't a Wonder Girl fan, so I didn't even bother. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not Blue Flash President Lex.
Exactly. So, gotta...
Yeah, it wasn't as good as last month, but Wonder Girl skin was... I mean, I hate Wonder Girl more than anybody, but the skin looks cool.
That's true.
Dude, have you seen that shirt on her? It looks kind of tight. I mean, I like it.
I love this.
Of course, Kage
Perfect.
brings that up.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's move on from raids then. Let's talk about the July characters. So we have Kilowog and Gargardner for this month, and then we have Ajay Cruz and Medfield, so the All Lantern month. So there's a couple of things we want to address first. So we have the introduction of probably two of the most asked for characters, other than what's the White Lantern that I'm forgetting?
It's not the White Lantern. It's Indigo 1.
Indigo One, yeah,
And
Indigo One.
Kyle
Kyle
Rayner.
Rayner.
Oh, Kyle Rayner, yeah.
You're thinking of
Kyle
Kyle
Rayner,
Rayner.
White Lantern Kyle Rayner is also one of the other big ass lanterns, right? But yeah, also
They don't
Indigo,
care what lantern he is. They just want Kyle Rayner,
Yeah,
not Parallax.
that's fair. That's fair. We don't want Parallax, but here we are. But Kilowog and Guy Gardner are big asks, and we got them. So, what do we think about Kilowog? And well, we don't. Some of you guys have Guy Gardner already, but we'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But what do you guys think about Kilowog first? Let's start with Ogre.
Kilowog is a beast. Hands down. Like,
Is he a beast or is
holy
he a
cow.
pig? I don't know what he is.
Well,
He's a
game mechanics wise, he's a Kilowog beast. I was doing a stream, and I think SVO was commenting about how I'm basically the Kilowog of DCL. Got to train all the noobs.
Wait, are you giving up? Are you giving up your chemo mantle? What's going on here?
Yeah, I have my my picture set as Kilowog right now.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm not giving
it's gonna
up.
be really hard
Not
to
giving
edit
up.
you on our album art.
No, I'm not giving up the chemo mantle. Like, I just did it for this month,
All right.
just
Fair.
because of that comment that SVO made. But like, I'll bring back the camo mantle. Don't worry.
All good.
But I really like Kilowog a lot. Assuming his kit eventually works 100% with the purge and everything, his basic being able to purge, his shielding, granting empowered strength ups, like his AOE, giving a choice on who to stun that doesn't require you to, abide by taunt and invisibility rules. Like, he's so good. I really like what they did with him.
Yeah. So I feel like the stunning and his kit overall is pretty interesting, and I like the fact that they're re-adding, they're bringing back empowered buffs. So hopefully that becomes more of a consistent thing. So that's what I like about. That's the positive takeaways I see from his kit for future characters too. Now, let's go with Kage. What do you think about Kilowog?
He's a good character. Like, he's really good. I'm glad they made him the freebie, because a lot of people can have access to like a utility turn meter character, but it doesn't really fit my personal playstyle, so I'm not as interested in it. But he's a really good character. I'd probably vote him an A.
Fair enough. So I was gonna ask Hate. Oh, Hate, are you back now?
I had to get on my phone. My power came back, and then it just went out again. So
Shoot. Okay. Well, in your case, we were talking about Kilowog. What's your thoughts on Kilowog?
he's pretty good. I'm more impressed with him than I thought I'd be. That targeted stun is pretty awesome. And then we have those empowered strength ups. You can make a character pretty scary pretty fast. Plus all the shielding. Once the purge is accurate, it will be. It doesn't bug out. It will be pretty. He's a solid character. I mean, I don't think he's like super S tier or anything, but he's a very good character.
Fair enough. Did you also get Guy Gardner yet?
No, I've watched some videos with Du Bois playing him at L2, and then Burger on our alliance has him at L4. Yeah, Burger has him L4.
Oh my god. These guys.
Good lord.
He's the real Lantern fan. Du Bois lost his standing, but
But you're both owls. It's all good.
he looks decent. Like, he looks like he could be a decent character. I need to see him at L5, but he may be a slow gear character, because I need some people to slow gear. So that could buy me the rest of the year.
Yeah. There's a question about Guy Gardner that's part of our Patreon topic, so we're gonna address that in a second though. But it has to do with his turn 0 death immunity or damage. Is it damage immunity or death immunity? Damage immunity. Yeah.
Damage.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Both. Oh wait, yeah, one. Crit immunity and death immunity for lanterns.
Yeah. But before we get off on those questions, let's talk about the reworks. So Jessica Cruz and what am I missing? Not Midfield. There you go. So let's start with J. Cruz and Kage. It's your lady, your other lady.
I
was a little underwhelmed by that rework. They actually fixed a lot of her issues. The fact that she needed deaths to ramp up. But they changed her game plan just a little bit, and she's better now. The only problem I personally have is her AoE, and I'm like, dude, why is her AoE not scaling properly? Because you think, 30% extra damage per shielded ally should be nuking teams, but I sent it to Reeves, and I'm like, hey, can you guys take a look at this? And she got back to me, I'm like, yeah. So her AoE's bugged, it's not scaling right. So yeah, they're fixing it, they're working on it. It'll be patched soon. How soon? I don't know. But other than that, her basic's actually really good. I nuke reds with it, I nuke greens with it. You keep Etrigan and Black Adam in control. So, and you can neuter Lex with that basic. And then her new taunt kind of makes her really annoying to play against, because if you're playing with dual taunters, then it's impossible to get to the character you want to kill. So she's better. I'm still undecided on her, reserving judgment until they fix her.
I feel like the one thing that really changed for her was the fact that she's no longer needed as a leader, and that actually puts her into a lot of different comps now, and the int down aspect of her basic and the fact that her basic can now double up even though someone's not dead is huge, I feel. Especially when you're using call assist comps. I've been going crazy with her and Constantine and other int down characters, and I've been having a lot of fun with her. I feel like she's really, really good now. But I wouldn't say that she was there was a huge difference from what she was before, as you were saying. But the fact that she's off leader, that makes a big difference for me, I feel. But Hate, Ogre, what do you guys think about J. Cruz? Let's start with Hate. Hate, you there?
Give me 1 second. I just realized that the episode I spent 10 hours editing is about to fall off because my power is out and I haven't saved it yet.
Oh my gosh.
So,
okay.
Oh no!
Let's defer.
Oh no!
Yeah, let you take care of that. So Ogre, what do you think about J. Cruz?
I haven't had a chance to play with her personally, but watching everybody else on streams and whatnot play with her, she looks really, really good. I like the way that they went with her. I like the fact that she's no longer required to be a leader. She definitely fits that Black Mask style in that aspect, where you can double up on different things. So if you have J. Cruz along with a Deathstroke lead, they're doing the same thing, but one can be a leader, one doesn't have to be. Whereas, Black Mask and Constantine do the same thing, but non-lead. So I like that they're giving us options that are non-lead options like that. I think that's a really cool idea. So I'm hoping that the eventual rework of Deathstroke makes him a non-lead, but we'll see.
That'd be scary.
If we ever get that.
That would be scary.
If we ever get that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like new precedents or anything like that, right? So I could see that being.
No,
yeah.
And that's one of those things, I think based on the way Jessica Cruz is playing right now, unless Deathstroke gets a bit of change on his damage and whatnot, he's not going to play the way he used to ever again. So
that's fair.
It's one of those things. But anyway, we're sidetracking. Jessica Cruz looks good. I like the way that they altered her with the non-leadership. I like the way that they altered her with not necessarily requiring dead allies.
Yeah.
So
I guess before we get to Hate, since it'll give him more time to work on the other things.
I'm ready.
Are you done? All right.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Well, why don't you talk about J. Cruz and then lead off with Medfill, then we'll turn it back around for Medfill.
J. Cruz, I absolutely love. I think they did a great job with her. I'm much higher on her than Kagi is, surprisingly. I think those int downs you can neuter any special damage character super quick. She's very tanky, can take mega hits. So I like the taunt on her, which I thought didn't fit, but I actually come to really like it. I do love that on defense, or if you have a bad match and you lose a tune, she taunts, gets the int ups, and she suddenly becomes very scary. I think once they fix her AoE, she's going to be a very, very good character, especially if it does high damage. Like if it's, right now it does almost nothing, but if it does, I only use it really right now to clear awareness or just finish off someone, usually a physical character who's just about dead anyway. But if they make that significant damage where it's pretty respectable, that's going to make her probably a upper echelon character because now she can do a lot of different things, all the shielding, all the taunts, the high damage, because she gets that AoE pretty fast. Like you can use that. It's not on a long cooldown at all. So I think she's. I mean, but I don't even ever use it right now. I just use her basic. So, and she murders reds. So it's good character. Medfill, I like him a lot more than I thought I would. He's very unusual character. Like he plays like no one else. He's very control based. He can shut down any strength based character extremely well. He's a little squishy, so you don't want to use the taunt too often, but because he gets the crit immunity, it does help. You can keep him alive. Him and Jessica Cruz can be a major pain because they can just cycle between the taunts, or Medfill with any other character that can taunt. He can cycle in and out and take the hits when he needs to. The damage immunity is 2 turns, so you can keep a character alive really well. And then the random turn meter really can throw a match. I noticed when I use a combination of Medfill and Jessica Cruz, my defense log always looks pretty good. So, good character. Pretty good month again. I think Guy is probably going to be the weakest link of the month, but I could be wrong on that. He might be good once he has a full kit. And I wouldn't say it's as good as last month, but they did a good job again. And I'm not, a major lantern nut. I mean, I like lanterns. I think they're cool, but I'm not super into them. So, good month. I do like Jessica Cruz. I think she's my favorite of the month, but overall, pretty good.
Well, I'm with you on J. Cruz being my favorite. But Ogre, let's turn it back around for Medfill and then back to Kage after that.
Yeah, so again, haven't played with him yet because he's a rework and I don't have shards for him yet, but I'm planning on getting him, hopefully. He looks, from what everybody's playing with him, he looks absolutely beastly on that control aspect. I love playing control personally. I love how his kit comes together. It hasn't really changed a whole lot, but the changes that they made were really significant.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the biggest thing, is that his leadership being what it is now versus what it was before
I haven't really played with him
is
that
enough to
often,
make him.
But do you know what his gear set is? Is he still like a weird support character, or did they change him to tank or anything?
He was a striker originally, and now he's
He's still a
tank.
striker.
He's still a
He's
striker?
still a striker.
Oh god. So he's still
Yeah.
made of paper.
I thought he was. I thought he became a tank.
Nope. Striker.
Oh well. That's like
I haven't looked at his
That's
kit,
like the kind
so
of
I don't
downside
know.
of it. Like I feel like control characters should all be like tanks, or at least support. Like they should have a decent amount of HP, is what I'm saying. So that's like the sort of letdown I feel with like control characters. You know what I mean?
I mean, he has 200% HP technically,
That's fair. So, I mean, that is what it is.
because that's how shield works.
But he does special damage, so you should like him.
He does.
He doesn't do special damage.
I mean, he.
Oh, he doesn't?
No,
I thought he did.
Oh no, wait, no, it's J. Cruz that does.
No.
He does. He does.
Cruz does.
Yeah,
He
Cruz
doesn't.
does. Yeah.
Oh,
That,
for some
that
reason I
seed
thought his basic
construct
was
should be
special
physical.
damage.
No, he's always been physical, unless they changed
Yeah.
it.
He kind of looks like he does special damage with like all the magical things that are coming out of him, but he is a lantern, so it's hard to tell. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like he's always been physical, so
Right.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's bring it back around to Kage. What do you think about Medfill?
Just to top off on J. Cruz real quick. Even though I'm not as high on her as hate is, I actually use her regularly with Artemis and Hippo. But back to Medfill, he is a very unusual character. He kind of plays like Lex, but he doesn't. So he offers different things than Lex. He's not busted, but as soon as your team gets a turn, it's the other teams are going to have a hard time keeping up with you because of that turn meter flying around everywhere. So he's actually really good. I wouldn't say he's broken like Lex, but he's up there and how strange and good he is.
That's fair. So I guess with that, we'll move on to the next topics. So basically, we're going to get into some Patreon topics, and then later in the show, at the end of the show, we're going to do some Q&A with people here on Discord. And also, if you're on YouTube, feel free to type in your questions on YouTube, and then we will read them out on the show. here on Discord, if you want to ask a question live on the show, we can give you speaking permission. So just let me know in the chat, and I will give you permission to speak, and you can ask your questions to us live. But before we do that, let's get into Patreon topics. Now, we had a couple from Hawkeye and Brainiac, a couple of our higher level patrons. And Hawkeye just says, just want to make sure that we give a shout out to the guys who are streaming in the community. So they're adding another fantastic layer to the community. So yeah, shout outs to you guys. Out of other than our the WRL broadcast team, we have 2D Tron who's streaming. Who else is streaming? Josh Schwarz, right?
Joshua's, Mostly
yeah.
Costly, Du Bois,
Yep.
SBO.
A lot of people out of the woodworks.
I think that's everybody. I'm not sure. I think that's everybody.
I think
the
Chosen one's starting. Yeah.
Chosen one, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, Chosen.
trying to make sure we don't forget people, but we got a pretty decent amount of people like in the last month or so, right? Coming out and adding so much more content out there. So I would say that I'm wondering what it is. Is it like quarantine life? People are bored, or are people like, hey, I really feel like I should get on top of this, you know?
Well, I think Joshua's, whenever he started streaming, kind of set everybody else in motion.
Yeah. All right. So
I don't know what it is, but like streamers who would stream, and I'm not saying that, he's necessarily, but he's definitely been a catalyst.
All right.
Yeah, I think
You know.
YouTube streaming isn't. I don't know what it is, but Twitch streaming is better than YouTube overall. Just for whatever reason, it's just a better viewing experience.
It is.
It's also easier for the person doing it.
Yeah.
to
I feel like WRL should switch to Twitch, and then Twitch
had
just.
this-
Yeah,
uploads
but I
to
don't think
YouTube
the
later.
problem. Yeah, the problem with Twitch and iOS. If you're Android, Twitch is 1,000 times better. I think it's a little more difficult.
I haven't been able to figure out how to.
Well, there's a lot of.
Well,
I'm still trying
Costly
to-
and Du Bois are on iOS, so I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
guess-
true. Yeah, I think you can do it. You do need a PC though to use
Yeah.
Twitch. That's
If
you can't
have-
just do it
if
on
you
your
have
phone.
OBS and you just basically just stream capture it, it works. But it's not it requires some work basically. But the whole thing about Twitch versus YouTube or versus another platform, I think we were also talking about I can't remember what the Microsoft one was called. Anyways, we had this at the beginning
Mixer.
of all of this. Yeah, Mixer, that's what it is. So we had Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube as like a voting option back in can't remember now. Like it was like early or late last year, right? Something like that. When we
I
started.
think it was end of 2018, early 2019, yeah.
Wow, yeah, okay, it was that long ago. But yeah, at that point, people just voted on it, and they were like, just stick with YouTube because we're already here, and it just requires less work. And
Yeah, for us, YouTube's better. I think just because people see it, they're like, oh, they're streaming, but they don't have to like go through a whole separate process to set up.
Exactly.
But the Joshua's does a good, like he just has a very entertaining stream, a good streamer. So I think it kind of put people in motion to say, hey, I could do that on. And also, it's easier to donate money on Twitch, so people are like, oh,
Yes.
people are getting money donated to
People
them.
throw
So
money at you, right? So yeah, that's what you want.
yeah, especially if you're an attractive female and you're doing Twitch, you can make like thousands of dollars a week. I've seen it. So
So
Oh, let's not. One last streamer, Alanware, started streaming. He's also a newer player. So if you want alternative content to what I've been bringing, he actually is pretty good there as
sounds
well.
good. All right. Well, you guys should just go out and check those streamers out. So I'm actually pretty impressed at our community, and we keep saying this from time to time with the Reddit community and the CC, but I feel like this game is one of the games that have like the best communities I've ever been in, and the streamers just reflect that too.
Never seen a community like this.
Yeah.
Ever, anywhere.
Yeah. Most communities are pretty toxic for most popular games, so I'm actually pretty impressed.
When it comes to the internet, yeah.
Alrighty. So the next question here was from Brainiac. So Brainiac asked a couple of questions. He wants to ask us what's the most dangerous tunes out of the gate from our opinions, and the second question has to do with the Green Lanterns with Guy's turn 0 damage immunity. So he was thinking maybe that could lead to a whole near meta Lantern team. But first, most dangerous tunes out of the gate. In my opinion, the two that stand right out are Black Adam and Arcus. Otherwise, and maybe Lex, sort of indirectly, but that's not a direct dangerous tune type of thing. And Wonder Girl, obviously. Sorry, I forgot Wonder Girl. Why did I forget Wonder Girl? But what do you guys think? Most dangerous tunes out of the gate? Anyone?
Out of the gate, as in regards to what?
It's a good question. I would say like just basically in a vacuum and characters you want to basically take out as soon as possible because they're scary.
Arcus.
Arcus, yeah. I have
Black Mask, Arcus.
Yeah.
Eclipso.
Eclipso.
He's
Really?
a pain. Yeah,
I mean,
he's more one of the pain in the.
Is he that different from like Harley, for example?
Yeah, I actually fear Eclipso more than Harley.
Really? Okay, that's fair. Kage, who do you think your dangerous tunes out of the gate?
I don't know. Arcus, Black Mask. Wendigo, not so much anymore. Because I can just throw an axe across the screen and she gets killed.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Cersei, maybe, as well.
All right.
But, I don't know. That's... ugh.
All right.
I don't know. It just depends. It's can't really consider it in a vacuum because this is a team player game.
That's true. I mean, basically, when I was thinking of it, it's like who I see these characters on the team. Who do I want to kill first, right? So if I see Arcus, I want to stun him and make sure he's not countering me. If I see Black Adam, I want to like snipe him down real fast. Like that's kind of like, especially if I've like more than one green on my team, right? But Ogre,
See, you're only thinking about this in one dimension. You're only thinking about who does the most damage in this and that and the other. I think you need to look at it a little bit more. Who is influencing your team when you're building it?
Okay.
Like those are like if you don't plan for chemo, you might just be dead.
Yeah.
Like
That's fair.
if you don't plan for certain characters, you might just be dead. Like those are the characters that I think are probably the most dangerous. Like I don't know. Like if you ignore certain characters, they just get out of hand really fast, and you're just like, what happened? And those are the characters in my mind that you need to pay more attention to those because you shouldn't be in that situation.
That's fair. So I mean, it's a hard question to grok, I guess. But all right, let's move to
It
the next
is.
part of Brainiac's question was with regards to Guy Gardner's turn 0 damage immunity. So and what that means for Green Lanterns. So let's actually start with hate and with Green Lantern talk.
I would say that at first I thought it was like when we first saw the kits, I was like, oh, this guy's he's gonna make the boy just absurd. I'm gonna hate facing him. But the problem is one damage immunity is pretty easily purged. There's enough purging characters now that it's not gonna be game changing. I think it's a good ability and I think it's strong, but I don't think it's gonna make it. I don't think it's gonna make him a meta character. In fact, I'm kind of starting to think he might not be a very good character. I think he'll just kind of be an average character overall. At first I thought he was going to be like Arcus with damage immunity, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the enrage mechanic, so especially on your own team. So I'm not sure it's going to do a whole lot. If you're playing solid Lantern teams like for the boy, I think he's going to be a character he's going to want to take up. Maybe not RB5, but take him up, to a respectable rank, just because the crit immunity plus damage immunity is pretty useful.
Fair enough. So let's take a break from there. Let's see here. Well, in terms of I was completely blank on the Green Lantern things. Ogre and Kage, do you have anything to add to the Green Lantern, the turn 0 damage immunity?
Nope, I have nothing.
No, Kage.
It's too early to say.
Yeah, it is
Way too early to say.
We'll see maybe next month once we recap again. Okay, so let's move on to the end, like near the end of the show, where we just do a couple of announcements and then we do a Q&A to wrap things up. So a couple of announcements. So just with WRL, our merch store, I actually just went and created some fanny packs and some masks. So we have cloth face masks with original album art and the mic logo. So we have the original album art, the new album art, and the mic logo as a mask. You can choose from different colors and order them from there. I think they're $10. And then the fanny pack, because fanny pack. That's all. There are a couple of other items that we could create in the future too, but right now they're a little bit hard to make. They involve embroidering and new designs, so we'll look into that in the future. But yeah, because face masks are mandatory in some places now, maybe you want to stay safe and show your love. So go and get a face mask from our store, teespring.com/stores/WROL broadcast. Okay, cool. Let's get into the Q&A. So actually, we had a couple of questions. Let's start with a couple from Discord first. Let me just scroll back up because I forgot where it was. Here it is. So Rush asked a question about the, let's see here, the skins that were offered in raids. Do we know if they're going to be offered in the shop anytime at some point? I believe, I can't remember if this was confirmed or not, but I believe that they will be. We just don't know when, and whether or not it's going to be a dollar amount or a gem amount. Most likely, it'll probably, my guess is that it's probably going to be offered with a gem pack, and then you probably have to buy the gem pack. That's my guess. So
Yeah, they said they wanted to ask live, or no, not right. They wanted to. They were gonna do, I think, 2 skins this month for June, and it'd probably be around raid time, is my guess.
I mean, July.
July, whatever month we're in.
Right. So let's see here.
But it was supposed to be every Monday, I thought. The way that everything was worded.
It sounded like that.
I think that was the concern, was that it was supposed to be every Monday, which I don't think it is supposed to be every Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was every Monday, I'd be very upset because then they would be doing 2 skins every month, or at least 1, and then it's like, okay, what's the point in grinding all the way to the top 500 if they're gonna give them out that quick? I mean, I don't mind them selling them, but I want it to be like a 6-month delay. So
Fair enough. So I saw that Nitro wanted to ask a question live on air. So Nitro, I just gave you permission to talk, so you can ask your question. Nitro, you there? Not sure if he's
his mic muted,
maybe he's
so-
muted. Let me unmute him. Hold on. Unmute. Oops. All right, there you go. Let's see. Nitro, try again. Are you muted yourself? Maybe you have to click the mute button. There you go.
There it goes. Sorry.
All right, no worries. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. What's the dream? All right. What's the dream skin you want to see added this month?
Dream skin. Huh. Dream skin.
Star Sapphire Wonder Woman.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Nice. Ogre?
If we're gonna go with a lantern theme, I want Yellow Lantern Scarecrow.
Wow. Actually, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Fear. Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Well, he was a Yellow Lantern. Like, I'm going off the comics. I'm not.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
he was a Yellow Lantern. Just like Lex was an Orange Lantern. And if we hadn't gotten President Lex, I would have said that one.
All right. Hate?
I really want to see a Killer Frost or Catwoman skin. Actually, Killer Frost would be my top choice for a new skin, and I don't want it to be Lantern. I'm Lanterned out.
Yeah.
No more Lantern skins for a long time. I like Lanterns quite a bit, but I'm Lanterned out. Star Sapphire Wonder Woman would be probably the only real exception I would make.
That's fair. My skin, and my answer to this question will always be the same until we get it. It's going to be Solar Suit Superman with the mullet. I want my mullet.
Mullet soups.
Mullet soups.
Mullet soups.
100% mullet soups. All right. Okay.
No, like, I think this is one that I thought of that would be cool. If you're not necessarily going to add a character, you can always add a skin over a character whose kit would fit. I wouldn't mind seeing a Gizmo skin for Survival Lex.
Gizmo skin?
If you're not familiar who Gizmo is, he's a Titans character villain. He's the little kid with the backpack of gadgets
Oh, I didn't know who that was.
and the mech stuff.
That's
yeah.
cool.
So I think that would be a cool idea, is if you're never going to introduce the character, give us a skin for an alternative character, essentially.
I see. Brainiac actually put an interesting one. 1 million Superman skin. That's a pretty good one. But Target, you talked about the Adam West Batman. Isn't that basically like World's Greatest Detective? I mean, unless you want like a more accurate to like the old sitcom Batman.
I always likened World's Greatest Detective to Adam West, whereas CC was the Arkham Knights Arkham series video game character.
What you would basically want to change the World's Greatest Detective skin to is you'd basically have him with like no muscle definition, and you'd have like the eyebrows into the cowl, right? You know what I mean? That's what he would look like. That's the Adam
Well,
West.
if you look at his basic skin, not his legendary, but his basic skin, it's pretty darn close.
Right, fair enough. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So we had a couple here from, let's see here, from YouTube. Let's see. So the first question from, I think, Dip Day, it says, does the placement of your tunes determine who would go first if they're on the same speed mark? Yes. So answer that
Yes.
question. Whoever's closer to your lead is the closer to the leader is going first. So if you have exactly the same speed,
Yep.
that person's going first. Same thing with counters and retaliations. So if, for example, you have Harley and Arcus, for example, and they all get hit, or Harley dodges, for example, Harley will, and Harley's closer to your leader, then she will retaliate first, and then Arcus will retaliate. So same. So
Yeah, it
basic
works down the
positioning
line.
does matter. So for example, that's the kind of also the same reason why people before, when they're using Castaway Green Arrow, they wanted him to go last so that everyone else would go before him, so that he would be able to pick off people that needed to get picking off, right? So that actually does have some strategic element into all of that. So positioning does matter.
Also, it does affect where the AI targets.
That's right. Let's see here. There's a couple more questions from YouTube. Let's see. So there was another one here from Shyam Singh. Says thoughts on Guy's home run ability. Is it gonna kill three, or is it gonna hit 3 times if he kills 2 people? Any idea? Any guesses?
Nope. Because it works similar to like Ravager or Batwoman. If you kill that first target, then you'll get it a second time. But if it kills those 2 people, then that's it.
Okay, that's fair. The next one, maybe Hate can feel because it's a type of a stun-based question. So it's on Kilowog stun. So if can it miss against, for example, like a Batgirl team, or is it guaranteed, kind of like Killer Frost?
No, it misses.
All right. So
But you can go around taunts and everything else, and you can't. I don't think you can hit invisible characters either.
okay, so that's fair. So it's not a guaranteed stun, but it.
Wait, I think
Actually, you might be able to
wow.
hit invisible.
Yeah. I'm 99% sure it hits evasion characters, but I
It
haven't
doesn't hit
tested that
evasion.
much.
I've missed many times.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah, I've used him a ton, and he definitely misses. I know he'll miss. I can't remember on invisible characters though.
All right, cool. Hey, while we're on the topic, can you send the link to the Reddit verse on the YouTube chat? Do you know how to do that?
I don't have any power, so I can't at the moment.
Okay, that's fair.
What do you need?
Can you post a link, the invite to the Reddit verse on the YouTube channel? Because people are asking how to get there. All right.
Oh, yeah. Give me just a second.
Yeah, that's all good. So when you have time. So let's see. What other questions do we have here? I feel like that's it, actually. Oh, wait, there was a question about alliances. Yeah, so Just Blackout, if you're looking for alliances, there's a lot of different DCL Discord channels out there where people post alliance recruitment, and the DCL Redditverse, the one we're in right now, which is the main Redditverse Discord channel, has a big place for it too. So come join us here at the DCL Redditverse and find an alliance. Let's see. Chris Logan posted a few skin thoughts. So there was Kingdom Come Soups, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Actually, I do like the Kingdom Come series. The Kingdom Come series is pretty cool. Also, what am I thinking of? Red Sun Superman. That was also a pretty good one too.
I want a Donna Troy skin, like a new skin, because her current skin, her face is kind of like, what happened?
Oh,
You know,
you mean like
they
the
throw her
face,
into a blender?
the face skin,
Dude, but like
just the face.
her, it's like what they do to her? Like they threw her into a blender and then they threw her in a bakery. I don't know what happened. It's just gross looking. So if she can get a new face, I would love a new face for her.
Alrighty. I mean, I think our questions just basically revolve around skins now at this point. But it looks like Ogre is posting the Redditverse invite on YouTube. So, but in terms of all that, I think we're good to go right now. We're gonna wrap up the show now if there's no other questions.
Well, I still wanted to talk about the
Oh,
one
yeah?
thing that I posted
Oh, what
recently.
did you post? Oh, you did post something? My bad. Go ahead.
I posted the speed calculator for anybody who was
Oh, you did?
interested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where was
A couple
that?
of days ago in Reddit, I
Oh, you
posted
did?
the speed calculator.
Cool.
Yeah, so if I will try to find a place to put that in our servers or in somewhere else, but yeah, if you play Siege or Wraith Arena regularly, you might be interested in this. It's basically just it tells you what their equivalent speed is going to be. That's all it is, based on how much meter up or meter down they are getting.
All
So
right. That's fair.
sometimes it's good for determining when a character is going to move, depending on if you're looking at a Castaway Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter on the opposing side, and you want to figure out, okay, who's going to do what and where is my team going to react. It's good to figure that out sometimes.
Cool. I just noticed that on YouTube we weren't able to post the link correctly, so I think it has something to do with YouTube
Oh, it
chat.
didn't.
That's fine. Who was asking about
I'll
that?
post it in the comment section at the end
Yeah, we can do
when
that.
it
Yeah,
go. Or
yeah. Well, the other thing
we could
was,
also post it on just like a if we can just create a
you know what? Let me see if I can just put it into the video. Let me see. Invite people. Okay, if you're watching this, you should be able to see it. Actually, it's hidden. Use copy button. Okay, well, copy. Okay, I'm gonna post it here. There we go. So if you see it in the chat in the window, then you'll see what it is.
just create a post.
There we go. There we go. So, anyways, that's straight up on there. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just type that in and then figure it out from there. All right, cool. So let's wrap up the show now. Now, as we do, wrapping up the end of the show, shout outs to Fries and Airplane at our Lex Luthor level, earning them topic suggestions. Also to all of our other patrons at the higher tiers as well, Brainiac Hawkeye included, who asked questions this time around. And then our newest patrons for the last month, we had No Regrets 678, Kratos 6283, Vagrant Souls, and I can't say the name of one of our other patrons because it was in Chinese. And while I can read Chinese, I can't actually know what the name is and how to say it. So I actually asked them how to say their name, but they never got back to me. But here we are. Yeah, thanks for you guys for joining our patron family. And just a reminder for all you guys who haven't already, you do have patron roles with all of your patronage. So make sure that when you are on our Redditverse Discord server, let me know and I will set you up with your roles. Also, feel free to visit our store at teespring.com/stores/WRL broadcast. We have fanny packs and face masks now.
And one thing I want to mention too was everybody chime in if you like the mid-month better, or if you prefer we did it either end month, or some people wanted it during raids so they had something to listen to while raiding. So
Yeah. So try and put your feedback either on Discord, on YouTube, or on Reddit, wherever you get this, and let us know. And then we'll take into consideration and figure out a schedule moving from there. All right, so let's wrap up the show. So if you want to be heroes like our patrons and help us keep the lights on, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/WRL broadcast. With that, that's all, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Okay, ended the stream. Cool.